All right, peace and love, y'all. I guess this is going to be my first video of astrology online. Like I've said before, I've been studying astrology for many years. Actually, I was a student of astrology since before 2012, but when 2012 happened, that's when I had decided to formally go into study and really get right into it and stuff like that. So, just to talk about this really briefly, I was a student of Robert Bresney. I'm a student of actually many of the professional astrologers out there, and salute to them, peace and love to them. Um, Maxine Taylor, Steve Oblas, I think is how you say his name. He's kind of dope. I used to follow Leo King a lot. I still watch Leo King sometimes. I even watch Pete Steeler sometimes. A lot of people, actually, there's a lot of intuitives out there that's doing some great work with astrology. As far as my personal journey with astrology, I'm very in touch with my own astrology. Like I was saying in the video last night, I'm almost kind of like obsessed with it, because I keep breaking it down further and further and finding more gems in there for myself. So there's that. Now, as far as me practicing astrology with others, I have done several natal charts in my life, mostly for friends. And I find that my interpretation, the way I dive into the natal charts, is pretty awesome. I love to do that, because I apply like a lot of the same passion that I put into my own chart into other people's readings. So I get good results there. And I've mostly done it for friends. So, like I was saying in the video yesterday, I'm going to start to do that on a one-on-one basis as well. And for the general, I'm going to, start to share my interpretations of the astrology. So that being said, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful time and place to start with the Lionsgate portal happening this weekend. And as with so many of, the daily astrology readings, in general, I have my own interpretation that's just different from what other people say. So, shout out to anybody who watches my videos. If you like what I do, thank you, and stay with me. Subscribe, you know what I mean? And let's go on this journey together. I like to converse with others. I like to, reflect back and, communicate. So that's something about me. All right. So let me go into this. So today is actually the 7th, which is uh, officially the day before the Lionsgate portal. But as you can see from this chart, and even if you go back several days, you can see that this has actually been, the portal's been open. Like what we're looking at here is a whole pyramid. And not only is it a pyramid, it's a multi-dimensional pyramid. And this exact pyramid actually was, we was prepared for this even a few weeks ago. A couple weeks ago, there was another pyramid opening on the weekend as well. And it was kind of going through like this zone over here. But I'll reflect on that again later because I'm more focused on what's happening with the astrology today. So what we have here is a whole pyramid, a whole multi-dimensional pyramid. We have the pyramid and we have the inner pyramid going on. That's what I see. When I interpret astrology, I do read the words that people, you know what I mean? I read what other people have interpreted as, but I literally look at the chart myself and I look at the relationships myself and I draw my own conclusions. So that's where that's coming from. So anyway, all right. So let's talk about what we have going on here. And I do have some notes, so I think you'll still be looking at this while I can look at my notes. Right. All right. So ahead of time, I said, the way I interpret astrology is my own way through my own intuition. I look at the chart myself and I discern what's going on through the placements, squares, and trines primarily. And I also look at the oppositions, but it's not just like, I don't just look at things and say, oh, this is opposite this, and thus they're in conflict. No, I think that's a simplification. So I look more so at the trines, the squares, and the shapes that are formed through the chart, right? So I do look at the oppositions, but not less so, especially not in the ways that a lot of contemporary astrologers look at that. So I don't necessarily look at it as like these things are in conflict. I find that they're all working towards our best interests. Okay, and that being said, that goes into my prayer. Let the words from my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. Jesus Christ, my rock and my redeemer. Because that's Psalms 19, verse 7 through 11. And the reason why that's important because, you know, I can study astrology, but my alignment is always with the Most High. So that's about me. Okay. So, right. So the Lionsgate portal has been opening. We're going to celebrate that tomorrow. And today's astrology directly shows that there is a portal opening happening here through, you see the North Node. The North Node is placed firmly with the number 8, the number for infinity. And wow, 33. See, I'm still learning. What are these numbers? Like, what are those numbers, right? But I really look at the degrees. So we're looking at 8 degrees in Gemini. 8 is a number of perfection. So the North Node is blasting off through here, in between basically Gemini and Taurus. We're applying, you know, Gemini and Taurus through that North Node affection, basically. The North Node is blasting off through the top of the pyramid into this, through this zone. So what I get from that is the North Node is about me. It's not about what you can do for your family. It's not about what you can do for others, it's not right now, it's not about how you're of service to others. It's not about what you do for your community. It's about you. It's about you, you. Where are you going? And I think that's so powerful because, you know, tomorrow we're doing the Rebirthing You event, which is going to be very wonderful and transformative, good vibes. So tune in to Divine Unisouls 11 for that. I'll put the link below. But it's a whole free workshop event full of speakers, free gifts, yoga. Like, it really doesn't get better. For free, you could be anywhere in the world. You could be in your home. You could be, you know what I'm saying? You could be coming from work, going home. You could be at the beach. Well, I'm speaking for myself. You could be somewhere else or at the park and still tune in for free on YouTube. So please check that out because it's just a wonderful resource. And I'm going to be helping spread more resources as well. So anyway, back to the reading. So look, it's literally a pyramid. It's not no joke. It's not no half pyramid. It's not a bunch of triangles here and there. This is a pyramid. We have a base to the pyramid with a square. The square is happening here between Venus, Mercury, Neptune, which is in retrograde. Mercury is still in retrograde as well as Pluto, which is also in retrograde. Now, we know that retrograde doesn't mean that the planets are moving backwards. It's just that it appears that they're moving backwards, which really means that we passed them. So we, as the Earth, are moving like this, and the other planets are moving in their own orbits. So what retrograde actually just means is that, you know, in our spin, in our motion, our forward motion, we seem to have passed them. But it doesn't mean that we passed them because it's like they're right there, egging us on to do more, which is what we have here. So now I think what I find so funny about this chart today, like, mind you, I'm not just interpreting it right now live. Like, I interpreted already just now, and then I'm sharing my notes with you because I want to do this right. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like half-assed fugazi about it. I study this shit. So, you know, here I go. So what I find so funny about this is Pluto. Because, you know, Pluto, they're always trying to tell you, oh, Pluto's not this, Pluto's not that. But look at Pluto here being the head cornerstone of the pyramid, the base of the pyramid. Pluto is the head cornerstone of the base of the pyramid. And not only that, we know that Pluto is in retrograde. Pluto is sporting the number 25 degrees. Pluto's sporting 25 degrees, okay? Pluto is sporting that 25 degrees. 25 is a number of change in my interpretation. Just like 5 is a number of change. 15 is a number of change. Multiples of 5 are numbers of change, but especially with the number of 5, right? 25 is definitely a number of change. It's one of 4 quarters. It's one of 4 quarters, right? 4 quarters. So I'm going to pay attention to that. Is this the first quarter? Are we entering the first quarter of this new life? All right, let's keep going. So, because I just found Pluto's placement so funny here. So we have the square between Pluto, Venus, Mercury, which is very close to the sun and the moon and Mars, right? We're gonna look at that part too, because we have all the like emotional planets here, and all the bigger planets, the bigger generational planets, aside from Pluto, which they call a dwarf. But then that, like, I have a lot, there's a lot going on there, you know what I'm saying? Because a dwarf, let's think about dwarves in life. Does anybody know anybody that's considered a dwarf? Don't you find that they have such a big energy? Isn't their energy so magnificent, almost gigantic, just compressed? You know what I'm saying? Compressed within their form. And I find that the same is true with Pluto as a planet. So, anyway, moving on. All right. So, we have this square happening with Venus. Venus, which is about, everybody's like, oh, it's about love and this, but it's not just about love. Honestly, it's really not. I find that even the moon is more about love, in my opinion, than Venus. Venus is about, you know, it's almost about finance, honestly. It's about finance and how you're making it in this world with love, you know what I'm saying? But it's not just about love. It's about, you know, I don't know, it's about the placement of your love in a way too. Whereas I find the moon is really about your heart. So, but we have here this square between Pluto, Venus. So we need Pluto and Venus. Pluto and Venus is essentially connecting here. The unseen, the hidden world, the secrets are connecting with our finances, our shame, our guilt, our shame, and things that we need to work through at this time because we have Pluto in retrograde. It's important to dig into those things in order to build us up, not only emotionally but through our work, because we even have Venus here in Virgo, and we know that Virgo is a sign for work, right? Virgo is a sign for work, and it's in our 12th house here. It's just so interesting. So I'm like, there's a lot of things. There's so much to it that, like, I have to talk through it slowly, and I'm not gonna dig into every little piece, because every little statement trails off, and you can do the research on your own. Like, that's one thing about me. I've said this on my other channel, on my Asmaat channel, as well as the Yikki BAZ channel. A burp is coming up. Thank you from the gut. Like, I encourage people to do their own research. Because what I say is just like breadcrumbs. I'm leading you, and you can do their own research and you can find out for yourself what that means for you. So, I'm breadcrumbing you. So, anyway, after Venus, so we're connecting directly, right? Look at the line here. This line forms a square right here to the Mercury, which is in retrograde, which is in Leo. And that's been a big part of what I interpreted for this reading, right? Big part of what I interpreted for this reading is how Mercury and the sun, yes, Mercury in retro at 21 degrees, 21, right? 21, right? With the sun at 15 degrees in Leo, right? And the moon is actually still in Leo at 3 degrees. And these are in the 11th house here that we have here, right? Yes. And even look at that part. The first house is actually Libra. It's telling you a lot. The first house right now is actually Libra is actually in the first house. So finding that balance and that justice within ourselves is happening here. Here I go contradicting myself, saying I wasn't going to interpret during the video, but I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting to keep reading deeply into the fact that Libra is actually in the first house, Scorpio is actually in the second house, and Sag is in the third. First house, the home of the first house is House of Aries, right? The home of the second house is House of Taurus, right? The third house is the House of Gemini. So you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Sagittarius is in the natural house of Gemini right now. So it's just once again affirming like what I'm gonna pull out for this. Our philosophical house, our philosophical planet or constellation is in the house of communication and, and me. So anyway, okay. Me, myself, and I. That's how I consider Gemini, because even though you don't see the I, the third person, but it's me, myself, and I. Right. So philosophy of me, myself, and I is going on right now heavily, because you see there's nothing happening here. When you see nothing happening, that doesn't mean that nothing's happening. What that means is this is mastery. What we're experiencing here is mastery. When you see the planets and the signs and the houses, that's where the work is happening. But the mastery is where you see no planets and no houses. You know what I'm saying? Where you see no planets in that house, in that sign. That means that there's mastery happening there. There's mastery through these planets, through these signs. And that, wow. All right, so let's move on. You see why this takes so long? It took me like about an hour to do the full interpretation. That's why this is a job. You know what I'm saying? It is a job to study astrology. It's not just like, oh, I just looked at it and I just read what they said, and this work, because I don't even agree with a lot of the things that people put out there, and not in a negative way, as just that I have a different way of interpreting it. That's all. So that's why I decided to start to share my interpretations as well. Maybe it might help somebody else. So this square is happening that's creating the base of our pyramid. Oh, I forgot to mention, look. So we have the Pluto connecting directly to our Venus in Virgo at home, right? So connecting to our Mercury retrograde and Sun in Leo, which I have some comments on that later as well. Now that's connecting directly to our Neptune at 22 degrees Pisces. Neptune is at home in Pisces, giving up the deuce deuce. Peace. Peace. So I have interpretation of that as well, but then let's just say completing the square with Neptune to Neptune to Pluto on the eastern front of the chart here. We have the western front of the emotional planets. We have the western front of the emotional planets. They're not doing, because I always look at it as the compass because of my chart, which I'll share at a later date. But my chart is of a compass, so I'm always looking at how the compass rotates. But what we're seeing here is that the pyramid is projecting out spiritually through this Gemini to Taurus region right here, because you see this one point here and then the second point here. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. 14, which is 2 times 7, 7, 7, and 8. It's amazing. That's why I'm glad I decided to make this video, just because like it helps me mark the time. Like, this is an amazing chart today. All right. So what was I gonna say about, man? Okay, let's go back to this part. Let's go back to Neptune being at home in Pisces with the deuce deuce. What do I think about that? I think that we're saying goodbye to the nightmare. We're saying goodbye to the nightmare of what was. Whether it was, because there is a divine feminine aspect to this, and it does go into the Venus, the Venus being in Virgo and being a part of the base of the pyramid, moving out through Gemini, Taurus region. But there is a divine feminine aspect. And again, like many people have mentioned, we all carry divine masculine, divine feminine within ourselves. So don't take it necessarily as, this is just meaning like the females are going to rise. It does mean that, but it doesn't only mean that. It means that there's part of that within each of us. So even for the males, that you have to, allow your feminine aspect to rise. And I'll explain to you what's going on here. And to me, this is an explanation of what this Lionsgate portal is about. We have Lionsgate portal every year, which is an explanation of, a time when we connect directly to the Sirius star. And we've been connecting to the Sirius star, honestly, throughout this year and heavily throughout the summer. With the solar flares, a lot of things that have been going on, I believe is related to the Sirius star. Okay, we had the eclipse season, right? We had the eclipse season, we had the full moon, super moon season. And then we had a revelation of the Sirius star. That happened. That did happen. So do your research. That did happen. The Sirius star did become revealed and closer, though invisible. I'll go into that because that just happened like maybe a couple weeks ago, like a week or two ago, honestly. But obviously it's been happening, as with everything. Everything is in continual motion, but you can say that there are events. That's why we're dealing with a multidimensional reality, and that's why I'm trying to show you that this is actually a multidimensional pyramid. It's not just a one pyramid. It's got like two pyramids going on with some important trines holding it up at the base. You've got, let's talk about this trine. You have the trine between the sun, the moon, and Saturn. Important trine holding up the base of this pyramid. And it's holding it up like this. It's holding it up like this. You have it like this. Which is what? Egyptian peace sign, right? The sun, the moon, and Saturn. Saturn with 9 degrees in Aquarius at home. The number of perfection, a master number. This is why I made this video. I'm like, hold on, we have to make a video about this. This will be my first astrology interpretation that I share online because it's amazing. And we're going into the Lionsgate portal. I'm becoming a new person. I'm living this. I'm living this that we're looking at. This blasting off through our Gemini and Taurus zone because my North Node is in Taurus. So for me, it's like I'm just so close. Look at this. I'm getting really close to my North Node. The North Node for the collective is in Gemini at 8 degrees, number 4 infinity. Boom. All right, so let me go more into this. So I talked about the base. So the base is a square with Pluto being the head cornerstone right here. I just find that so beautiful because Pluto is always the most slept on. They don't even want to call Pluto a planet anymore. He's a dwarf. Like, come on, B. Stop degrading Pluto. It's okay. It's not about what the terminology is, but it's like, let's respect Pluto. You know what I mean? And so Pluto has this relationship to Neptune right here. It's like, yeah, B, I have a relationship to Neptune, B. Stop it. And then, did I mention the fact that Pluto, now let's get into the faces of the pyramid. We talked about the base of Pluto, Venus to Mercury, which Mercury is right here with Sun and Moon, so I'm not going to discount those. They're feeding right into that. And Neptune, right? With that square connecting right there. But let's talk about the faces of the pyramid now. All right, I started with the front face. Look at this. Boom. Pluto to North Node to what? Mars. They did not create a line here, but I would. Pluto to North Node to Mars. So there's action. There's action happening. There's action happening. We working through those shame and secrets and the hidden self in Capricorn. Come on, man. There's work to be done here. All right, we don't even have to dwell too long on that. There's clearly work to be done. We're in Capricorn, and we're facing the Mars, right? They didn't draw this line here, but I would totally draw a line right here to here, bong, and connecting to the North Node. But what the line they do connect is, yeah. See, to me, there's clearly a triangle there, because this is a triangle too. Pluto to Venus to Uranus is a trine, right? Pluto to Venus to Uranus is a trine. So there's actually more face. There's more dimensions to that front face right there. Pluto connects to Venus, which connects to Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus and Taurus means 1 + 4 = 5. Change. We're going to change the way we look at our stability, our law, our comfort. Make it be more natural. Let it come from within. Do it in a unique way. Because Uranus is all about doing it in a unique way. You know what I'm saying? Our uniqueness. But what face do we see actually connected there? We do see Saturn. They did make let's see, a Saturn to Uranus to Sun trine here, which is amazing. To me, that appears to be within. This is a pyramid within. It's not the front face. The front faces would be like the outer faces. But to me, this seems like a within face. Or maybe on the other side, the opposite side that we can't see, the hidden side, like the moon, right? Like the sides of the moon that we can't see. But look at that. We have Saturn to Uranus to Sun, Moon, Mercury happening here. Right? So there's a demand. There's a demand, actual demand. It's not just about bringing out the secrets and getting, you know what I'm saying? Eliminating that aspect of shame, working through that aspect of shame, because these are both in retrograde, actually. But we're also going to be, it's a demand for that to happen. It's a demand for us to work through those things and to find the uniqueness, right? Because this is all our sun pointing towards that. And this, again, Uranus and North Node form the 2 points of this multidimensional pyramid that we are blasting off through. Boom. Isn't that beautiful? So, what else is a phase going on here? We have, like, this is what I'm saying, you can interpret this endlessly for yourself. We have Moon connecting with North Node, connecting with Saturn. Now, what's going on here with the Moon? The Moon is in Leo. The Moon is pretty much on the cusp of its home of Cancer, but it's really in Leo with the essential number 3, the magic number. 3 degrees in Leo. Get started, baby. Get started. Take that emotion, take those emotions, and take that choice to blast off through the me zone. You know what I'm saying? Do what works for you. Do what works for you. How you feel. It's about how you feel. It's about, I have this saying that says, it's about what is real and how you feel. It's not just about, the ostensible reality of, what people so-called objectively. There's no such thing as objective. So how can we call it objective when we live in a patriarchal society? You know what I'm saying? There's nothing objective about it. It's biased. It's inherently biased. And that's only one thing going on. And there's a lot going on. We live in a patriarchal, racist, you know what I mean? Strategizing, like stratifying people that's better than other people. No, we're going to speak from the heart. We need to speak from the heart. Okay, we need to find that courage, that Leo lion's courage to speak from the heart. Right? It's by law. By law, it's time. It's time by law for us to find that courage to speak from the heart and thus create our own reality, essentially. I mean, Uranus is saying that. Uranus is saying create our reality, create our stability, our finances, our law, our stubbornness. We're creating that. It's beautiful. Like I'm gonna pretty much cut it to an end, but you see there's a whole side to the pyramid happening right here, which is again going back into the emotions. We have Mars. We have Mars connecting with the moon to go through our north node. We do. This is happening. This is happening, sweetheart. This is happening, okay? We have this pyramid is showing us what we need to do for this Lionsgate portal, which is going back to what we're actually doing tomorrow, which is rebirthing you. Rebirthing you. It's about taking control of the direction, blasting off through that pyramid, transforming. We're transforming circumstances. We have the western front of this chart happening here with all the emotional planets. We have the Venus, the Mars, the Mercury, the Sun, and the Moon, all on the western front. And on the eastern front, which is where we're moving towards, right? We're moving towards the power. We're supported by the power. We're supported by Pluto as a cornerstone, Saturn, again, as the base and forming the essential trines within the pyramid. Jupiter. I didn't even really speak on Jupiter. You see how nothing really connects directly to Jupiter? He's just there. He's like, you got this. You guys got this. 28 degrees. You guys got this. That forms number 10. Perfection. He's like, you guys got this. I believe in you. Thank you, Jupiter. We love you, Jupe. We love you, Jupe. He's like, you guys got this. I believe in you. I don't even have to touch it. He ain't even got to touch it. Look at this. He don't even got to touch it. It's a beautiful chart, y'all. I just had to share that with y'all. So shout out to Divine Unisouls 11. Shout out to all the people that I follow on YouTube. Come join us for this lit event for the Lionsgate portal. It's going to be amazing. I find this chart amazing. I don't feel like I need to look at the chart tomorrow. I might look at it. You know, I don't look at my charts every day, but I do it when I feel compelled to. I'm going to start to do it more often just to share my dailies. But I just find it so beautiful. So big up to this chart. Take a look at it. And I have some, let me see if there's anything else that I really wanted to say. Let me just read through what I said. Okay. Yes, Lionsgate portal has been opening. We will celebrate tomorrow. Today's astrology directly shows the Lionsgate portal opening as a pyramid through Gemini Taurus zone. Strong relationships occurring through this portal. Mars stands by closely to support Venus. Uranus supports North Node, being themselves, moving through the portal. Self-important Gemini and stable Taurus. Yes. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Mars, and Venus are to the west of the North Node, while Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter, and Saturn, and Pluto, all big planets plus the dwarf, support the North Node from the eastern horizon line. They form a horizon line, and that thus pyramid. Indeed, these are the opposite sides of the pyramid structure on the west and east horizons for the North Node to blast off through Gemini Taurus zone. Yay. Based on the pyramid, important square with several planets at home and stable between Venus at 19 degrees, Virgo, Mercury at 20 degrees, Leo, Neptune at home at 22 degrees, Pisces, and Pluto, which may look small, but at 25 degrees in Capricorn and forming the base of this pyramid. Again, how can Pluto's influence be small? How? Pluto, in my opinion, is the stone that the builder refused, the cornerstone. We're definitively giving up the nightmare of the past, with Neptune saying deuce deuce and holding the line in Pisces. And actually, when I first interpreted that, made me cry a little bit because I was really happy. I was like, what? Neptune was like, bye, bye, bye. All the emotional signs are coming from the Western Front saying, and they got to watch and learn what's the buildup that's happening. You know what I mean? So we can do this. All right. The inner trine within the pyramid is Venus and Virgo, Mercury and Leo, Neptune and Pisces. Divine feminine aspects will be learning to boldly speak our truths and will be very important in the process in order to project our North Node through Gemini and Leo at this time. Okay. So yeah. Let me see what else it says though. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So let me just mention this part. Our deepest truths are called out for questioning by Saturn. What did they do to you? Speak up and speak loudly. Moon in Leo. Emotional moon in Leo on the cusp of Cancer with strong 3 degrees, right? Directly opposite Saturn. We need this to happen to fuel North Node's flight into this ascension journey. We need us to speak our truths, right? Speak our truths. What did they do to you? Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay? And North Node is going to experience infinity projecting through the top of the pyramid, screaming me, me, me. Okay? So that's what we're dealing with right now. I'm going to cut this video short. Um, Sorry if it was all over the place. You know, I'm going to learn how to hone all my messages in so that I can deliver it clearly. But there was a lot there. So I encourage you to study the chart, take a look at it yourself, feel the vibes, feel the energy from today, and peace and blessings. Love, love, and respect. Namaste.